you'll be like 5 arrows. So, but it all starts with.
Wait, it all starts with what?
Point blank shot. If you're a bow ranger, it all starts with point blank shot.
I was just kidding because you just cut out when you said it all starts with, and I was disappointed.
I'm sorry.
How did I know what it started with? Speaking of starting things.
Oh, is the stream starting?
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna be much because we're
hello
just
internet.
Talking. Hello.
No! Sorry. Can we not say that? That's
recording device. Let's see. What kind of tone do you want for this session 0? You want battle music?
No, it's sort of like light and relaxed.
Like horse hoofs?
Horror.
Horror.
No, not horror.
Well, let's see if I can. Here, you guys might have to turn into the
I want to channel Ben's chilling by a pool all day energy.
Chilling by a pool. Okay.
Chilling.
How about
chilling by a pool all day with his significant other vibe?
How about like in the 1920s though?
Okay, I mean, sure, I'm cool with that. Flappers,
so,
you know,
jazz. Okay,
I'm cool. Yeah, I'm cool with jazz. Some early blues. Can we get some Muddy Waters or something?
I got accordion mood. This is cabaret right now.
Accordion mood. Accordion is mood. You're so right, Ben.
Well, if
big squeeze box energy.
Well, if this isn't doing it for you, I'll stop this. Here, let's do accordion mood.
Big squeeze box energy is the name of my next mixtape.
Ben, that's the funniest thing you've ever said. I want you to know that.
No, that's the funniest thing I've definitely said today.
Which one of you is talking? I can't tell.
Hey, that's racist.
Hey, that's racist.
But I got Casey laughing, so.
Casey laughs at a lot of things. I don't know if that's your bar you would have said.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to encourage people to tell jokes, so I laugh.
Okay, I can't listen to accordion. No.
Have you, Casey? You're the one who volunteered the big squeeze box.
I forget. Pathfinder read magic is effectively required.
Yeah, pretty much. Read magic is pretty required. Although less for you as a druid, but it's still really good to have. That means if you pick up a scroll, you'll know what it does.
Read magic? What is read magic?
Read magic is a cantrip that lets you read magic stuff.
Oh, I don't have that as a thing that I can do.
Because if I can call attention to the last page of the alchemy feature under alchemist, and alchemist does not need to decipher arcane writings before copying them. That means you do not need read magic, unlike most. Because alchemists are like magic scientists, so they do it a little bit differently. So you're good on that front. Though there might be some instances where that's a hindrance. Like if someone uses like special magical writing that can only be deciphered with read magic, you might fall down on the job there. But yeah, but in Pathfinder,
I do plan on taking levels in spellcraft and use magic device.
So those are good. I mean, that's the lack of read magic won't necessarily hinder you there in a substantial way. You'll be all right.
And
swag.
Pathfinder, can we change out Orizin's level 0 spells?
Yes, unless you're a spontaneous caster, such as a sorcerer. But druids are not, so you can change out your cantrips.
Dear.
All darn.
Did I miss the overview being late?
No. No, we have not done the overview. I specifically waited for you, Sen.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, use the character mancer?
It's a little limiting. You might find that helpful, so feel free to use it, but it's just a heads up. I mean, you can always change things afterwards. Might make your life a little bit easier. It's up to you.
Elven magic.
Welcome to the official Roll20 Pathfinder character builder. Where's the unofficial? Is there like competition?
There is a community sheet that I started out using, and then I found out the Pathfinder bestiary doesn't work with the community sheet, so I scrapped it.
And just that quick.
Yeah, I abandoned my allegiances to the community sheet.
I've abandoned my boy.
Wow,
What's that?
longbow is expensive.
What's that from?
There
So a
would
note
be
with
blood.
composite longbows. Composite longbows have a strength rating on them. If your strength is not equal to the strength rating, you can't use them.
Where is
But
the rating?
it's just a feature of the composite longbow. But
Yeah.
if your strength rating is equal to or greater than that, you add that damage to the damage of your bow. Bows do not get dex to damage by default. They don't get any ability score to damage by default.
So that's
It's just a straight dice roll.
if your strength bonus is less than the strength rating of the, where does it say?
There you can get, they don't cost any more money. You just choose what the strength rating is when you buy it. So you can have it be +0 if you only have 10 strength, or you can have it be +4 if you have 18 strength. You just set it. It's just the cost of the composite longbow.
My strength is 12.
So
My
yeah,
dex
so
is 18.
get a composite longbow +1, and you'll add +1 to damage whenever you hit things for free.
So like I'm probably thinking more D&D. So like dex is not helpful.
Dex is you hit things with dex. You roll it
You
for your
don't-
attack roll,
You
but you
don't
do not deal damage with dex. In Pathfinder, in order to try to avoid dex being a super stat like it is in 5e, dex to damage is very difficult to get. There's only a few very specific ways to do it, and they require feat investment or being an Unchained Rogue at level 3. So you're not going to get it by default, and I don't believe there's any way to get it with a bow. At least not that I'm aware. There might be an enchantment or something weird, some weird edge cases. There always is. But by default, with the stuff we're going to be doing, not a thing. And that's something to keep in mind. If you want to use dex as your stat for like melee, it requires an investment of feats, and you're probably not going to be able to do it level 1. And you're not going to be able to. You probably won't be able to get damage with it unless you're using a specific weapon. So something.
Well, the focus is on bow, and you said that they're gonna end up being able to fire like a bajillion bows.
Yes.
I mean, a bazillion arrows. So that kind of like evens out.
Yes. Yeah. That's why bows fire a billion arrows, is because they don't get a ton of bonuses to damage with each shot, but they just fire a bunch of shots. Okay.
Okay.
Shots.
So, Sin, I don't know if you remember, we were using Are you using the Character Mancer, Sin?
Yeah, Kyle and I are.
Okay, so we're doing a 20-point buy. I don't know if you've gotten through that yet.
I have not gotten through it, but I remembered that.
Oh, good. Excellent. I'm proud of you. Clap, clap.
Oh, thanks.
What classes are you guys thinking of? I know you were thinking of Witch.
Yeah.
Sin. Kyle is thinking of
Brawler.
Oh yeah, Brawler. You did mention that, but then you seemed very unsure later on, so I really wasn't sure.
Oh, I just didn't have anything.
I see. That's fair. Yeah, fair enough.
Casey's doing Druid.
Yes.
Yes.
Doing Druid. Ben is an alchemist, and Athy is a ranger.
Oh. I thought you were going sorcerer.
I was, but I heard there was a lot of spellcasties happening, so I'm like, I'll do ranger. Yo, stereotypical elven ranger. With lots of range.
This music is driving me bonkers.
What music is? I don't have the music on the stream.
It was cabaret battle music, whatever the fuck that is.
Oh, cabaret battle music. How exciting.
We'll put on spooky, banquet, or fighting. What do you guys want? And by you guys, I mean
I already
later.
said spooky.
Spooky. Okay, cool.
All right, let's do spooky.
Because all of these numbers are very, very scary.
Oh, very scary. All right. So as you guys are going through we're going to do an overview of the sheet, sort of once people are through the Character Mancer. But as people go through that, I'm going to open up. free sheet must be Kyle because it's the only one without a name. Okay, here, yeah.
We're just gonna add some extra H's and E's, and that's gonna be his character's name.
Oh, but I already did that.
He didn't do that. So Sin, just so you're aware, intelligence is going to be your most important stat. Note for spellcasters, like in 5e, a lot of spells require attack rolls. You don't get to use your spellcasting stat for that. You're going to want dexterity because that is what you'll use
That
for
sounded
ranged attacks,
ominous.
and that's what you'll use for melee touch attacks. That might be a house rule technically, but I don't care. I'm going to do it. Because making a wizard have a bunch of strength for his melee touch attacks is dumb. So yeah, you're going to want at least a decent dex so that you can hit people with stuff. Most of your spells will go against what's called touch AC, which doesn't take into account armor. But if someone's particularly dexy or tiny, they will still have a decent AC. So it's something to think about. You'll want decent dex. You also want to go first as a spellcaster in really small way. So having good dex is not a bad thing. What's on there? Also, unlike 5e, there is not a saving throw for every stat. There's just fortitude, reflex, and will. Fortitude is constitution, reflex is dexterity, and will is wisdom. So also something to keep in mind. You don't need to worry about, oh no, my charisma's bad. What if I get hit with a banishment? That'll be a will saving throw. So you're all right.
You know, it's funny. Like, you know, shortly ago, you were like, "Oh, your charisma's low. You know, I can just drain that and kill you."
You can also do that. So that's something to keep in mind. Well, to be fair, your charisma wasn't just low. Your charisma was 5.
Okay.
So I feel kind of justified in giving you a little heads up.
I was just pushing buttons, and dwarves apparently are not charismatic folk.
Yes. So races in 5e, or not in 5e, in Pathfinder, have bonuses and negatives generally, unless you're a human. So they'll get +2 to 2 stats, and they'll get a -2 to another stat. So that is something to keep in mind, something to be aware of.
This is why I picked half-orc.
That is a good reason to pick half-orc, because they get just a floating +2. You can put whatever.
All right, where's my type go?
Huh, you were right about one thing, Charactermancer. Brawler? Nope, you don't get that.
No brawler.
Nope, so I'm going to use it to pick my abilities.
Yeah, that's
Nailed it.
good enough.
So, like, this area of the world with, like, a favorite enemy, like, what's around? Like,
So, here, let me pull up.
because I see, like, this is the, you have to pick, like, dwarf or elf or goblinoid or orc, etc.
Mm-hmm. All right. There you are. For the little introductory adventure, I would recommend Undead. For the campaign at large, you know what? We're not gonna worry about the campaign at large. For the thing we're doing, I would pick Undead. Beasts also wouldn't be a terrible choice either. Yeah, I do Undead or Beasts. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wisdom or charisma?
Wisdom is a save. Charisma's not.
Good point.
Unless you want to be talky.
No.
Okay. Wisdom also governs perception. Similarly to 5e is a very important skill.
the sheet would favored enemy go?
Oh yeah, perception is important.
Notes?
I'm still keeping my -1.
I would put favored enemy
Oh, it's
under additional features and traits.
I see it. Okay. Type. I need
Cool. So I'm just going to record these numbers and back out of the Character Mancer because you don't have stuff on there, do you? Thanks, Character Mancer.
So,
Official Character Mancer.
as you're doing that, so once you're out of the sheet, once you're out of the Character Mancer, I'm going to go over the sheet forever.
Do it.
Just for that. Kyle, are you good to go? Good to look at the sheet?
Yes, enough.
All right, cool. So, Pathfinder in a nutshell. We're going to start at the top left and work our way down the left column. The right column is all skills, which I'll go over, but we're not going to worry about it right now. So, ability scores. They're all the same. The modifiers are derived the same way. That's going to be pretty familiar. The big things that are going to be different are your scores can go above 20 and are expected to. They won't be at start, but they will eventually. So that's something to consider. Like we talked about, spellcasters are going to want dexterity for their attack rolls. That is something to consider. You can't just use your spellcasting ability modifier. But basically, they all govern what you would expect from 5e. Strength is, your ability to like climb and swim and hit things hard with weapons and carry stuff. Dex is still initiative. It still adds to your AC. But in heavier armors, that's reduced. That's all there. Constitution is still health. And the ever important fortitude/con save. It's basically the same things. Intelligence. Intelligence has an extra importance in Pathfinder because you get two things. Well, three if you're a spellcaster, but two things primarily. You get extra skill ranks based on your int mod. You also get extra languages at character creation based on your int mod. Two things to sort of keep in mind. It's not like in 5e where if you dump it, you can be a rogue that dumps intelligence to 8 and still have a ton of skills. You will get less skills than a rogue that has a 16 intelligence. And if you are a spellcaster, this doesn't matter if it's int or not. If you are a prepared spellcaster, or I guess spontaneous spellcaster, you get more spells if your spellcasting ability score is high. For like example Ben was talking about, he gets an extra first level spell slot through fourth level spell slot because his intelligence is 18. That applies to every spellcaster. Wisdom still governs the same things. It governs the ever important will save. That's your mental effects, shrugging off dominates and getting shifted to other planes and stuff like that. Your perceptions, sense motive, which is the equivalent of insight, all that stuff. Clerics and druids use it to cast, and rangers. Charisma, still your face skills. It's probably it has sort of replaced int as the least important stat if you're from an optimization standpoint. It does govern use magic device, which is your ability to use magic items as a non-spellcaster. So it is important for that as well. Going on, hit points are derived identically. You have a hit dice, you add your con mod, that's how many hit points you have. You roll it every time you level up. It's pretty standard. Initiative is basically the same thing. Dex mod or anything that adds to it, like if you take improved initiative, it makes initiative higher. All standard. Where things are going to get weird is AC. You have 3, maybe 4 if you want to get technical, types of AC. Your base AC, Goblin tries to stab you with sword, has to roll higher than AC. If a spellcaster wants to shoot a fireball at you, well, not fireball's a bad choice, wants to shoot a finger of death at you, they have to hit your touch AC. Touch ignores your armor, because all the spellcaster has to do is come into physical contact with you. Doesn't matter if there's armor there, finger of death's still going to kill you. So that is your armor plus your dex mod and any other like dodge bonuses, anything you've got like there. That's what touch armor AC is. Flat-footed is if you're surprised. You're surprised, so you can't dodge out of the way, but your armor still applies. So people in heavy armor are going to have a bad touch AC, but are going to have a good flat-footed AC. That's what those are. There's modifiers that apply to each one, and some apply to some, but not the others. We'll get into that when we get to that. But don't worry about it right now. That's just what they are. Next are your 3 saves. Fort, Int, or Fort, Reflex, Will. Those are just the 3 saves. There aren't any other saves than that. It's not like in 5e where there's one for each ability score. Fort is governed by Constitution. Reflex is governed by Dexterity. Will is governed by Wisdom. They all do kind of what you would expect them to do. Fort is like if you get poison. Reflex is dodging a fireball. Will is shrugging off dominate effects. So those are all pretty standard. Base attack bonus. This is your proficiency modifier, but it only applies to very select things, such as your attack rolls and your CMB and your CMD. It doesn't apply to skills or anything like that, but it's like a flat bonus that gets applied to all of those types of checks, assuming you're proficient in whatever you're using. CMB, that stands for combat maneuver bonus. Pathfinder is different in that if you are trying to trip someone or take someone's weapon or toss sand in their eyes or grab them, you don't make an attack roll or a skill check, you make a combat maneuver check. And the person who's defending doesn't make an opposed combat maneuver check. They have what's called CMD, which is like a little further down on the left. So CMB is what you roll to do these maneuvers to people. CMD is what people use to defend against them. It's their AC against them. That's going to be important for you, Kyle, I imagine. Because brawlers get all sorts of fancy combat maneuver stuff. So that's something to keep in mind. So and your CMD adds your strength and your dex together. CMB is either strength or dex, depending on what you're doing. Then this is just a place, melee and range is just a place to put, basically, melee is your strength attack roll, and range is your dex attack roll, is what that means. Spell resistance. Spell resistance is probably not a thing now, but will become a pain in the ass if we play Pathfinder at higher levels and you're a spellcaster. Some enemies are more resistant to spells, and you'll have to make a check to have the spell affect them at all, and then they'll make a save. It's a way to sort of balance out spellcasters at higher levels. So that's something to think about. Don't worry about it right now. Nothing you're going to run into has it. Then there's places to put in weapons and attacks. We're going to skip that for now. Speed. Speed in Pathfinder is remarkably similar to 5e. Your default speed is 30 feet. Short races are slower. I don't think anyone's faster, except for monks and barbarians can go faster, but I don't think any race is faster than 30 feet by default. You also see run, swim, and climb speeds. We're not going to worry about that right now. But just know, default speed is 30 feet. If any of you are shorter, it's going to be lower. Senses and languages. Senses is like dark vision, stuff like that. Important note, in Pathfinder, there's low light vision and dark vision. They're 2 different things. Low light vision is, I can see fine out when it's night, but like in a forest or outside. Dark vision, I can see fine for 60 feet in a pitch black cave. Those are the 2 differences. And dark vision is like 5e. It's like black and white. It's like thermal vision. It's not true in color vision. Low light elves have low light and stuff like that, whereas like drow have dark vision. Pretty standard. Languages are just like in 5e. Nothing right there. Skills. A lot of these are going to be pretty the same. They're just a little bit more granular. Acrobatics is what you expect. Appraise is you get treasure. How much is it worth? That's appraise. Bluff is deception. Climbing a rock face is pretty standard. Craft is like a craft skill check for like, I want to craft armor, or I want to craft weapons. You get craft and you choose a type of crafting. Diplomacy is persuasion. Disabled device is disabling traps or picking locks. Disguise is like a disguise kit. You want to make yourself look like someone else. Escape artist is different, is a unique thing. Like if you're bound in manacles and you want to try to squeeze out, that's escape artist. Also, if you're grappled, instead of rolling a CMB check to get out, you can roll an escape artist check. It's like your ability to like be slippery and squeeze through areas and get away. Fly is, you think, oh, that means I can fly if I take ranks? No, but if you eventually get the ability to fly, you might have to make fly checks to not fall out of the air. If someone shoots you, like hits you with a big rock or something, you'll have to make a fly check. Stuff like that. Handle animal is the same. Heal is medicine. Intimidate is intimidate. Then you see all these knowledge checks. 5e has 3 knowledge checks. Pathfinder has however many this is. I think it's 8 or something. They're all pretty self-explanatory, but those are the knowledge checks. There's a lot of them. Linguistics is your knowledge of languages, your ability to forge things, and every rank you get in it, you get an extra language. Perception is perception. It's good. You probably want it if you want to be able to find things. Same as in 5e, except Pathfinder has no investigation. So some of the things that are under investigation in 5e are under perception. So it's a little bit more, I guess, of a god skill. Perform is the same as in 5e. Profession is like a profession soldier or profession sailor. It replaces that sort of stuff. It's like so you know how some people let you use tool checks as like specialized knowledge checks? That's a profession check. Ride is like riding a horse. Everyone can ride a horse by default, but if you want to ride one in combat, you need ride. Sense motive is insight. Sleight of hand is sleight of hand. It's the same. Spellcraft is specifically like identifying magic items or identifying spells and things like that is spellcraft. Stealth is stealth. Survival is survival. Swim is swimming. And then use magic device is your ability to use magic items that you can't use because you're not a spellcaster or you're not the right kind of spellcaster. That's use magic. That's a lot of information. I understand that. You're not going to remember all of it. Fine. But does anyone have any burning questions? Anything that doesn't make sense to them and they're confused about?
I've parsed out one important question.
Sure.
Will someone in this party have disabled device? Do we have any skill
I
roguelike
have
creatures?
disabled device.
Okay.
I'd be acceptable at it, I think.
Nope, just double checking that we got at least one.
An important note. Skills in Pathfinder, if you notice on the sheet, some skills have an asterisk next to them. That means if the DC is higher than 10, you can't roll it without a rank in it. So that means it's like a specialized skill that you have to have some training in before you can do anything beyond the simplest task. So like, just because you have good dex does not mean you'll be good at disable device by default, because you don't have any ranks in it and you won't be able to try it because your character doesn't have the right training.
I have a question then. Like,
sure.
All the knowledges.
Uh-huh.
So if you don't, and this is something that like even in the podcast that Pathfinder that I've listened to, I don't understand. Sure. You just don't know it. Like if no one in that party has that, you're just like, well, no one fucking knows.
Right, no one knows. It's like in 5e, I've seen some DMs do this. In 5e, sometimes people are like, this is a check only people proficient in Arcana can make.
That's how I run it generally.
Yeah, like, so it's sort of like that. And yeah, sometimes you'll be in a position where you just don't fucking know. Yeah, so there are some like big knowledge skills, and the big ones are the ones that govern monsters. Because in Pathfinder, because there are so many weird monsters with weird abilities, it's important to have people who have knowledge skills who can potentially give you information. Because like just like in 5e, if you're like, this monster's weird, I've never seen it before, can I roll a knowledge check for free on my turn to maybe learn something about it? That is a thing you can do in Pathfinder, and it is more important because monsters can be more unique. So Arcana, Dungeoneering, Nature, Planes, and Religion are your big knowledge. They're the ones that govern all the monsters, and they are the ones that govern the most, I guess, generally plot important or item important knowledge. Local is also an important one because that's like knowledge of the local area and important people in it and important landmarks and things like that. So that can be pretty helpful from like an RP perspective as well. Some of them are less important. Like, I'll be honest, knowledge engineering is not it's not as good as knowledge arcana. But it's there and it can come in handy sometimes. That'll make sense?
Yeah. So,
okay.
Not all of it, but we'll figure the rest out.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, as far as, like, what everybody's taking, I kind of don't want to know.
Okay.
I feel like we could really all of us plan this out very well to just, circumvent everything. But I don't know. Maybe you guys have already talked about it. I don't know.
They have not. So you're safe on that front.
I mean, I think at the very least at level 1, the natural inclination is to take as many of your class skills as possible, right? Take ranks in as many of your class skills as possible.
Generally speaking, yeah. Not all of them are going to be ones you're going to want or need, but yeah, it's important to take ranks in class skills because you get that +3 bonus, and that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
So that's something I didn't mention. Certain skills are class skills, which is indicated by the check boxes to the left. And when you put your first rank in there, you get a +3 bonus automatically. This sheet will calculate that for you, so don't worry. Don't need to worry about that. But that is something to keep in mind. Yeah, and your class determines base how many skill ranks you get per level, and then your int adds on top of that.
Boy, am I dumb.
In the game or in real life?
A little both. Some from column A, some from column B.
That's honest.
What happened, Casey?
Huh? No, just looking at things. I'm like, well, I've only got 2 skills to work with. I guess I'll just put these 2 options here and call it a day. No real strategizing necessary.
That's all right. Don't worry about strategizing. I will give you guys. I'll say this: whenever anyone gets to gear, let me know because they're important.
I'm doing some stuff with gear and pulling.
Okay.
Up.
So I'm going to tell you an important piece of knowledge. You'll probably know this a little bit, Effie, because you played 3.5. But monsters in 5e, like in or other way around, monsters in Pathfinder, similar to how they are in 5e, will sometimes be weak or strong against certain weapons or energy types. However, it's far more common in Pathfinder for things to have damage reduction versus specific types of damage, such as bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. The big low-level one, skeleton. In 5e, skeletons have vulnerability to bludgeoning damage, which is great, good for them. But in Pathfinder, skeletons have DR5 bludgeoning, which means if you don't do bludgeoning damage to them and you attack them with a weapon that does another type of damage, such as slashing or piercing, you will reduce the damage of your attack by 5, and then any extra damage gets applied. So if you stab them with a sword for 3 damage, you do no damage. If you stab them through with a sword for 6 damage, you only do 1 damage. So at low levels, it's really important if you're a martial person who's using weapons to have a variety. Unless you're specializing in something really early on, it's important to do that. Athy, they make blunt arrows, and I suggest you buy some. Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing. Actually, I had her with a mace too, just in case.
Also a good call. But yeah, anyone martial, it is good to have a variety of damage types. Zombies are similar to skeletons, except they have DR5 slashing. So that's something to be aware of. Once you get higher level, DR is still going to be a thing, but the types of DR you have to deal with will change. And then, there are monsters that have DR magic. There are monsters that have DR good and only take damage to good aligned attacks. That's the whole thing we're not going to get into right now. But the point is, damage reduction and overcoming it is really important. And at low levels, that means for martials having different types of different weapons that do different damage types. which is one of the reasons Malik had like 50 weapons and only ever used 2 of them. Because it's a hard habit to break.
It's good to have all the options.
It is good to have all the options.
And a block and tackle.
Those harpoons ended up being very useful. You know, I take it back. It was a great idea. I'm a genius.
I have an immediate, not a question, but I'll call it a whinge.
Sure.
Are we using encumbrance rules?
No.
Yay!
No. So if you're does the sheet track it automatically? Let me check.
Yeah, it does.
If you put weight onto an item, it does check it automatically.
There might be a way to just turn it. Yeah, so just delete weights on things. There is a way to turn it off, but I think it only affects certain things.
I have already set all of my weights of everything to 0.
Yeah, we're just going to do it like I do in 5e, which is don't carry a ridiculous amount of stuff, and only if you're carrying something weird will I really call into question.
Oh, I see. So if you go under configuration tab, under race, there's a checkbox saying your speed is never modified by armor or encumbrance. I think that might end up being for skills as well, but I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't check that because armor should affect your speed. That's an important mechanical thing. Okay. So just set the values of things to 0, and we just won't look at it. I'm not going to get punished about it.
Question.
Absolutely.
On configuration, trying to input classes, I got the first 3 chunks, but what's the spellcasting SCCL ability? What's that gobbledygook?
So spellcaster, click spellcaster. That says, yes, I am a spellcaster. CL is your caster level. So the levels in the spellcasting class you have, which will be 1. Your ability is intelligence. And then DC is if you have any bonuses to your spell save DCs, that's where you put them in.
Cool.
And then SF is if you have... you'll get them through feats and stuff. Or like special abilities. So if there's nothing... You don't have anything special, just ignore it. And then SF is spell failure chance. That is a thing for... that's why like wizards can't cast in armor. Arcane spells specifically, with some exceptions, have a spell failure chance. And the heavier the armor you're wearing, the greater the spell failure chance. You basically roll a D100, and if you get low enough, your spell fizzles. Because you're in armor and you're bad. It's hard to do complex movements in armor properly.
Now, I don't need to worry about that, right?
Yes, alchemists are an exception. You don't need to worry about that as long as you're wearing light by default, I think. It might eventually go to medium. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I'm only wearing light armor anyway.
I think you only get proficiency.
That is true, but I only ever intend to wear light armor.
Yeah, because alchemists are weird in that they're like not technically spellcasters. Because they're magic scientists.
He's a witch.
No, I am a scientist.
Sin's a witch.
Is Sin a witch?
Yay!
I got fire bombs. I know how to use them.
Yeah. Based on her usage of a GIF of the default witch. I was surprised by that. I did not expect that to be a thing that existed.
I hate that the default witch uses the fox because I really wanted a fox. I don't want to be that person, but I might.
Where did she put this?
In lobby chat, she posted a GIF and it's got the iconic witch in it. Pathfinder has this thing called iconic characters, which is like basically they make a version of each class at like level 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, I think, or something like that. And they all get art and their characters that exist in like the official lore of the world and stuff. There are like cool things, but you don't need some.
I think I know of some of these characters.
Right, like on this art on the main page. Yeah, we're looking at 2
of them right now.
Yeah, that's the iconic druid and our iconic monk. There. I don't know how that druid got a fucking spyglass. It's like 1,000.
Question for you.
Uh-huh.
Cold resistance 5. Is that
Sure.
like damage resistance 5? I take 5
Yes.
off of any cold attacks that would hit me?
Yes.
And does that stack?
No.
No.
Unless it specifically says it stacks.
Okay.
Yeah, the answer to does it stack in Pathfinder is 99% of the time going to be no, with some notable exceptions that we'll get to if we get to. But by default, the answer is no. So like bonuses won't stack. If you get a competence bonus from 2 places, they don't stack. You just take the greater. Like every bonus you ever get will have a type, and you can't have 2 of the same type of bonus with like one notable exception.
What is the one notable exception?
Dodge bonuses stack.
Okie dokie.
That is the only one. And it's also worth noting the Pathfinder sheet is like the 5e sheet where you can look up things on the little eye and then drag them into your sheet as well. So that saves you time. Is the advantage of all the rules being free. So you can do that with like weapons. I think it should create an attack for you by default. And no, go ahead.
I think in order for it to create an attack for you, you do need to drag it onto the main tab.
The main tab
of your thing, because I dragged it directly into my additional tab, and it didn't add an attack.
At low levels, our spellcasters, you're gonna want a damage option that is mundane, because Pathfinder does not have damage cantrips that are worth talking about. So at low level, a light crossbow is your friend. Because those of you with D6 hit die don't want to be up in melee. Oh, and one other notable mechanical thing, there's a lot of going to be a lot of mechanical differences in combat and stuff. That's to be expected. But one that I'm going to preface up front, even before we get to combat, because it's a significant change and it really changes the dynamic of combat, is spells always provoke attacks of opportunity if you cast them next to someone. That's a big change from 5e and really like makes so like if someone runs up into your face, that is a bigger deal even than it was in 5e, and it was still a big deal in 5e. So that is something to keep in mind. You can make what's called a concentration check to not have it provoke an attack of opportunity, but you risk losing the spell if you fail the concentration check. So something to be aware of as a spellcaster, which is one of the reasons you want like a ranged weapon, because you don't want to ever have to get in melee, because you'll provoke attacks of opportunity, and sometimes you might provoke 2 attacks of opportunity with one spell, because you'll provoke an attack of opportunity for casting the spell, and then you'll provoke an attack of opportunity if the spell has a ranged attack. Ranged attacks in melee always provoke attacks of opportunity as well. Something else to be aware of.
Dun dun dun.
I've created a little handout that has a chart showing all the actions you can take in combat, and also whether or not they take an attack of opportunity to give you an idea. Don't feel like you need to look at now, but it might be a handy resource when we get into the game.
It'll be more fun to surprise us.
Yeah, surprise! That doesn't work that way. You take an attack of opportunity.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, I lose. Do.
Unarmed attacks provoke attacks of opportunity? That's fucked.
Unless you are a monk or a brawler. Yeah.
That's fucked.
You're not skilled with
That's
unarmed
my
attacks.
second whinge of the night. That's fucked.
Yeah. Well. Guy with sword beats guy with fist. I'm sorry.
Dagger up.
But yeah, like a brawler that doesn't apply to, monks that doesn't apply to. Stuff like that. I think there's a feat that does it if you don't want to have to deal with that. But yeah, by default, yeah. Oh, one other combat rule I'm gonna bring up because it might affect character creation decisions is how you die. So in Pathfinder, you get stabbed in the face, and let's say you have 5 hit points, and you take 6 damage. You go to -1 hit point, right? And that's where you fall unconscious. You're at -1 hit points. You're on the ground bleeding. Every round, you make a con check. Straight Constitution check using your Constitution modifier. It is modified by the amount of negative hit points you have. So if you have -1 hit points, you take a -1 to this roll. If you get above a 10, you've stabilized, you're stopped bleeding. If you get below a 10, you take another negative hit point and you make their check again. Your next. If you ever get to negative your con score in negative hit points, you die. Flat out.
Fuck.
So, what that means is, if you're at 3 health, and you're in a boss encounter, and the boss hits you for 15 damage, that could just kill you. Because you are weak. So there is none of this 5e bounce up and down thing, because when you are at 1 hit point, you are much closer to death than you are in 5e.
You're holding your intestines in your hands at that
Correct. Yeah.
That
so that is
said,
something to consider.
Are you double tapping, or like is that just a play it by ear kind of thing?
Not generally, no. Maybe in very specific situations I might do that, but I'll do that as often as I do it in 5e, which is very rare.
Which is if we poke you.
More like, if you were really, really mean to Strahd and you really upset him and one of you's unconscious bleeding out in front of him and you saw a chance to be really, really mean and I was in a terrible mood that day, maybe I might do it.
So you're
But
saying
no,
the answer is, quote, as is narratively appropriate. And
correct. But even then, I'm still not going to do it. Because for most, especially because, like, I feel like it makes more sense to do it from an enemy perspective in 5e because of how up and down it is. Like in Pathfinder, when someone's down, it's a lot harder to get them back up again. And even still, they're easier to knock back down, and it's more dangerous when you knock them back down. But whereas in 5e, where people can go down and up so often, I feel like an intelligent enemy is gonna stab people on the ground because then he knows they're not getting back up and trying to stab him in the face again. So it's, that's a weird. But anyway, the point is I'm not gonna do it all. So don't worry. But just be aware, if your con is 8 and you're at 1 hit point, get the fuck out because you are very one-shottable.
Get him. Type, size, speed, ability, language, resistance.
Kyle.
Bleh.
As our resident beefcake.
Beefcake.
I have important information for you. So you have your fists, right? And you punch someone with them. When you use strength for the attack roll and you add strength to damage, right? Pretty normal. However, let's say you have a big fuck off greatsword. When you hit someone with your big fuck off greatsword, you do strength to hit as normal, but you do strength and a half to your damage because it's a two-handed weapon. Just something to keep in mind. And certain feats, such as power attack, which is a feat you want, by the way, take power attack. It's like Great Weapon Master if it was like really good. And scaled with you, and also you want it. It's like it's assumed you'll have it almost. That extra, it adds, like, you take a minus to hit to get extra damage, and that extra damage is also times 1.5 if you are two-handing a weapon. So something to keep in mind. I know you're a brawler, so this is less important for you. I just wanted you to be aware that that's how it worked. You could make appropriate character creation decision.
Can you two-hand your own hand?
No.
Oh, come on. You got 2 hands, though.
It turns out the Star Trek hammer hit is not actually that effective of a combat tactic.
Well, yeah, because that's what makes it a good stunt to do.
It's a good stunt. That doesn't make it a good effective combat technique. Though there are ways to get.
Though this is fantasy.
There are ways to get strength and a half to your unarmed damage. It's through what's called style feats, and Kyle, this is important for you. Certain ones like Dragon Style let you do extra strength damage on your attacks, like times it 1.5. So that is a thing you can do. You just have to get a feat for it. You can't do it by default. The answer to most questions you have of like, can I do this weird thing? The answer is usually yes, but it takes. Because unlike 5e, where it's like you have all these options by default and then feats make you really good at something, Pathfinder is like, here's all of these things you can do, but you're not that great at them until you get the feat that makes you good at them. And because everyone gets feats every odd level, that's, everyone has a chance to specialize. That's important notes. You should have a feat at first level. 2 if you're a human.
Where do I put a bonus against enchantment spells and effects?
I would put that either under additional, like features and traits.
Okay. I just didn't know if I was missing one of the AC areas or something.
Yeah, if you like, because it probably applies to saves. So like, if you hit the cogwheel next to a save, there is a notes section. You could put it in there.
And that would be usually a will save.
Yes,
probably.
Yeah. Okay. So then it tells you the notes when you roll it, so you can be like, oh, that's an enchantment effect. +2.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Your animal companion just got a 20 will save, Casey. So I hope you're happy with that.
Woo!
What kind of animal do you have?
I don't know yet.
Good. It's so quiet, and I'm assuming that everybody else is like totally done. And
oh no, come on.
No. It's just it requires a lot of mental energy.
There's at least 50 first level spells. Like, I'm not kidding.
Yeah. So here, I'm gonna give you a. This is where spellcasters. I'm gonna put some guides in the chat to help you narrow it down to ones that are.
I'm so not even there yet. I'm getting there, but I'm saving that big block of a mess.
So here is for.
And what's killing me is like the ones I'm like, oh, that'll be super awesome. I look up like duration, 1 round per level. I'm like, not taking that first level. Like, yep, we can summon a giant poisonous snake that disappears in 6 seconds. I'm like,
did you see that cool thing I did?
Come back here. I blinked and they missed it.
I have a strangely worded sentence that needs Sean deciphering.
Sure.
Elves begin play speaking Common and Elven. Elves with high intelligence scores can choose from the following. Is that 1 in addition to? 2, what is high intelligence score defined as?
Your ability mod, if you have...
Mm-hmm. It's a positive int mod. So if you have a +4 int mod, you get 4 extra languages.
You get,
and that is in addition
you can learn
to Common and
one
Elven.
additional language at first level for every intelligence modifier bonus you have.
Yeah. So you get Common and Elven for free, and then is your int 18? I bet it is.
Yes.
So you get 4 extra languages on top of Common.
Nifty.
Yeah, and the languages are described under the linguistics skill.
Cool. I just didn't know where the amount was coming from. I didn't know it was like you get the mod number of extra languages. That's kind of cool.
You do indeed.
I've got a spell that takes the flesh off a corpse to make a skeleton, and a spell that puts the flesh back on the corpse.
Yep.
What the hell?
I'm sorry.
Sometimes you need to do both. I don't. Seems like
sometimes you want a skeleton. Sometimes you want a zombie. I see.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like...
And sometimes you accidentally fireball the person you're sent here to save, and you're like, just put the flesh back on him. Just put it back on him. And then like, sorry, we found him dead. Here he is.
He died in his sleep. All peaceful like.
Yeah. It's a useful spell.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it looks totes normal.
That's the most horrifying conceptual idea that I have ever heard.
Wait. Is it a spell that you're looking at?
Or is
it Skin Send? Is it Skin Send? Ben, tell me it's Skin Send.
No. What he's describing.
Oh, okay. I thought you discovered Skin Send.
Wait. Now I have to discover Skin Send.
Yeah, let's go Skin Send. Is it Skin Send? I think it might be Skin Send.
Oh, I don't get that one. It's just not first level.
Skin Send, all one word. It's an alchemist spell, so lucky you. It's only second level too. Third level. You get access to Skin Send, my man.
I don't get that one.
Oh
yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! I am horrified but
slightly aroused.
Because I know I absolutely no joke, have to take this. There is no reason for me not to take this spell at, what is it? I get it at what, level 5?
Level 3, my man. It's quick. Oh, no, you might get it at level 5.
I get it at level 4.
You get it at level 4, yeah.
Let me just drop you this first sentence into the recording for posterity. You cause your own skin to peel off your body and animate as a magical creature you control. What the fuck?
Why would you want to?
Kaizo.
What situation would ever call
Do you take
for that
damage?
specific thing?
It's a cheap clone.
Yeah, this is what it is.
Construct. It's a very seen servant.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like super seen. It's also very moist.
But are you standing there like skinless? Like
Yes.
No. When your skin leaves your body's hit points drop to 0.
Yeah, you are skinless. You are sitting there skinless. You're just helpless.
It just all slurps off of you.
It does slurp off of you.
wow.
But your skin can be preserved with a gentle repose spell.
Can somebody else wear it? Like,
No.
like as a disguise? Like, why would you do this?
If you really want to smuggle something, you can, like super drug runner. Like,
well, it's you do get a lot of benefits from this actually. Your skin can take any actions you could normally take, but you get DR 10 except piercing or slashing damage.
Uh-huh.
I don't understand what these things is. It gives you a trait. It forces you to have 3 strength, or it gives you 3 strength.
It forces your skin has a functional 3 strength.
Okay, and con blank? Does it mean?
Yeah,
you have
so
no
your skin counts as a construct, and constructs don't have a con score.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What happens if the skin dies? If your body was regenerated before you... No.
If the spell ends before you reunite with your skin, or if your skin is killed while you are in your body, you remain helpless and at 0 hit points until your full body is restored to you.
That's
powerful magic
gross.
as above. Yeah, your body cannot heal damage naturally while you have no skin, nor do spells that cure hit point damage work on you. Only regeneration from a regenerate spell, Ring of Regeneration, the regeneration monster ability, or any other effect that can regrow missing limbs, or heal as the spell can regrow your skin and allow you to heal above 0 hit points. So there's a big downside. Like if your skin dies, it requires a 5th level spell minimum to get you back up and running, or maybe even it might be a 6th level spell minimum to get you not at 0 hit points, a horrible fleshy meat boy anymore. So there's some downsides. But think of the exfoliation.
And you can squeeze.
Oh yeah, you could squeeze the shit out of that bad boy.
The creature can move through an area as small as 1/4 its space without squeezing, or 1/8 its space when squeezing. You just...
Ben. Think about the noise that would make. Yeah. It would sound like that, I'd imagine. Yeah.
But I gotta do it, yo. I have to play with this because, like, my whole character concept is I am a living experiment.
I mean, that does fit. I mean, you could see if you can improve your armor class by having multiple piercings.
Do gods matter?
I mean, gods do matter. Yeah. And the gods available are the Galarian gods, which there's a handout for.
Okay.
Might I point you, Ben, to the mad scientist alchemist archetype?
Absolutely, you can.
So here's this. Kind of fits with the thing you're going for.
Oh, that is one thing that I saw. What is the archetypes? There are archetypes.
Archetypes. This is important for the group. Every class has a number of archetypes. The archetypes are ways that they change the base class abilities in ways that are unique and give them unique different abilities. So there's a good chance if you have a concept in your brain, there is an archetype for it. Not all the time, but many times. So something to be aware of. They're worth looking at.
Ooh, this is bad because I have low wisdom.
I know, but it fit your concept a little bit, so I thought I'd let you know it existed.
Are a brawler's fists considered natural weapons?
I believe so. That's an interesting question.
Magic Fang, one natural weapon of subject creature, gains +1 on all attacks and damage. Can I boost the brawler?
Let me check for you. Yes.
Yay! Good brawler. So many spells. Whoop.
I mean, this is fucking great and all, but I do want discoveries. I have a lot of discovery choices planned.
Fair enough. Just wanted to make sure you were aware.
Appreciate you.
Wow. They're cheap
Yeah.
with their spell slots. They're like, we're not going to give you shit with spell slots.
Low level, yeah.
Okay. I'm coming across a lot of stuff where I'm like, I feel like there's a place for this, but I just don't know where it is.
No. Ask
+2 racial bonus on caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance.
Sure. That would probably be open up your sheet. That's going to be under the spells section, I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe not.
I mean, the notes thing, that's helpful, but, like, I feel like if I keep doing that, I'm like, this one's gotta go somewhere.
I would probably just put it in notes underneath your spellcasting thing. It doesn't seem like there's a default place to put it, unfortunately.
Under the spellcasting resistance?
No, under spells right here. Because how you roll a caster level check is you click which one right there, and it rolls your caster level check for you. So you're going to want to put the note where you're going to see it when you have to click that button.
Oh, okay, I see.
And I would put it at the bottom of this little spellcasting chart.
Yeah, I didn't even notice the notes down there. Okay, cool. Thanks.
That's what I would do. Huh. Sounded alarming. Look at your guidance. Good job, Casey. You did it.
Yay! I helped someone. See, Lyrna got an 18 because of me. Yay! All I'm gonna do is spend the whole time running from each of you, smacking you on the back of the head, giving you virtue. That's it. Just gonna run over, smack you with a virtue, smack you with a guidance, and then move on.
Oh, there's little, like, icons.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't...
Ooh.
Like the magic icon and the little attacky icon.
Pretty. Aha! I can even roll a concentration check right off the thing. Neat.
Yep.
When would I have to roll it if I was casting it next to someone?
So there are a few different times you'd roll a concentration check. That is one of the main ones, yeah. Is if you are next to someone, or if you get hit while casting a spell.
So, like, if I was casting Magic Fang while standing next to someone, it would standard action, so it would invoke an attack of opportunity.
Yep.
I would only have to concentrate if they hit me, or do I have to concentrate even if they just get a swing?
This is how this works. So you can, you're next to someone. You, for whatever reason, don't want to take a 5-foot step to get away from them. We'll talk about 5-foot steps later, but don't worry about that. The point is, you can't get away from them. So you can do what's called casting defensively, which requires you make a concentration check, DC of 15 plus double the spell level you're trying to cast. So if it's first level, it'd be a DC 17 concentration check. If you pass it, your spell goes off normally and they don't get an attack of opportunity. You're home free. But if you fail, the spell fizzles, and you waste the spell. Okay? Or you can be like, fuck that. I'll just take the chance that they'll hit me. And if they do manage to hit you, you then have to make a concentration check equal to 10 plus the damage taken plus the spell's level. If you fail, you lose the spell. If you pass, you're fine.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. There are also other times, like you have to make a concentration check to cast while grappled. If you're like on a ship in like crazy weather, you have to make a concentration check. It's basically anything that can like cause you to like interrupt your spell casting as you're doing it can force you to make a concentration check. So like in Pathfinder, there are a fair number of spells that take a whole round to cast, meaning you start them on your turn and then they finish at the beginning of your next turn. So through all the enemies' turns, you're still casting. So technically someone could see that guy's casting a spell and it's taking a while. It's probably powerful. I'll shoot him with my bow. If they hit you, you have to make a concentration. I'll put in a little concentration check chart for you. Got it. Tells you what the DCs are and everything.
Some of these alternate racial traits are cool, but I'm scared.
Yeah, feel free to replace any of them that don't have an RP. They say like 1 RP or 2 RP. Don't take those ones because the RP thing means they're more powerful than the thing they're replacing, and I'm not there right now. Keeping it simple. So there you go, Casey. There's now a little chart for concentration checks and their DCs. Here's a handout. Feel free to look at it. Also relevant to you, Sin. Though, important note, your hexes do not provoke attacks of opportunity. So you can cast it all damn day. And it doesn't matter.
Okay, so you said everything except for the ones with RP next to it are on the table, but like...
Are on the table. Feel free.
For the sake of getting this character semi-done, I'm going to move on. Would I maybe be able to change it when I have time to read it? Possibly?
Sure, absolutely. And yeah, and keep in mind, if we decide to stick with Pathfinder at level 3, you'll be able to completely remake your character.
Good point, yeah.
So, yeah, don't worry about it too much. This first little introductory adventure is for you guys to get the feel for how Pathfinder plays, sort of how it works. Yeah. You'll notice I'm not focusing on the RP side of stuff as much, not because that's not a thing in Pathfinder, because it totally is. It's all basically the same. So you guys all understand that making a character with a backstory and motivation is not unique to a system. So we don't need to worry about it. How are you feeling, Ben?
I'm getting too deep into the archetypes, and I think I need to just stop. Play the bass. I'm just gonna close. I just closed 5 tabs, and I'm happier for it.
I'm intrigued by your choice of wooden armor. That's
Why?
interesting. It's not a default armor, I don't think. Oh no, it is. There it is. I mean, sure, go for it.
I mean, it's what I could reasonably afford, and
might I point you to? Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter. Studded leather's only 5 more, but it's basically the same for you. Yeah, I mean, go for it.
Since at least for now, I'm not going to be increasing my dexterity up enough for that shit to matter. Wooden armor's fine.
That must be a newer thing. I don't remember that being an option, or I guess we just never. No, it's in the advanced player's guide. I guess it's just no one ever. I knew ever took it. Yeah, go for it. Something worth noting: armor. You'll notice some armors have an armor check penalty. That applies to certain skills. It's a negative to certain skills, such as stealth, disable device, sleight of hand, your sneaky skill. I think technically it applies to anything that uses dex. So like it applies to, yeah, because it also, not even that, it also applies to like climb and swim. So something to be aware of. Yeah, you'll notice like your acrobatics should be 2, but it's only 1 because you have a -1 from your armor.
Are you talking to me? Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah. But yeah, just generally speaking, yeah, if you have an armor with an armor check penalty, it applies a negative to certain skills.
Yeah, I did specifically choose wooden armor because it saves me 5 gold. Although I didn't use that much gold.
Yeah,
so it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, having gold is nice because you can craft stuff really easily. You can craft potions.
I think that is why
alchemists
save a lot of money. Because I think, I don't know if I wrote it down, but I think I've got like 40 gold left.
Mm-hmm.
Although I might grab some sort of blunt or ranged.
I would recommend it because you've got bombs, so you're like,
yeah, but I only
okay
got 5.
But you only get 5, so something to keep in mind. But those bombs, let me tell you, at low level, those bombs, wow, beautiful. They can trivialize a lot of encounters if you're clever. Like one of the adventure paths I've played in, one of the bosses was like this ghost who had the skulls of his victims floating around him, and the skulls like had their own HP, and the skulls took damage to the boss. And so I had an alchemist lob 2 bombs at him in 1 round, and so they hit all the skulls and him and knocked him out in 1 round because it did basically like quintuple damage each bomb.
Yep.
So if you're clever, you can really mess some stuff up. And like things like swarms are a lot more nasty in Pathfinder, because if they're swarms of tiny enough creatures, sometimes weapons are literally useless. Like it just doesn't do anything.
Fuck.
So, but they take an extra 50% damage from AoE weapons, such as bomb. And they generally don't have a ton of health. So you just toss a bomb into like a swarm of spiders and it blows up and they all die. Bombs are cool. And useful. Even if you don't focus on them.
Bombs are key.
How you doing, Athy?
Good. I'm gonna roll random height and weight shit because I could never do that. But otherwise, I think I'm pretty good. If you want to take a look at the sheet and see if there's anything weird happening.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give you a look. See. Oh, what feat did you take, Ben?
My level 1 feat is combat expertise.
Interesting. For what purpose are you taking combat expertise? Just because you like the effect, or do you have a greater plan?
If you consider it a shitty one, I might end up having it just be a placeholder, but...
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why you took
it. Just to give me the, like, extra... Yeah, it...
You reduce
so
your
I can
attack
choose.
extra,
so I can choose to trade -1 on melee attack rolls, and to give me a +1 to my armor class. Since I don't necessarily expect to be using a lot of melee attack rolls, that 1 to my armor class.
Right, but you can only choose to use this feat when you declare that you're making an attack or a full attack with a melee weapon.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna throw that up immediately.
Yeah, and that's what I was like. It's a prerequisite for a lot of combat maneuver feats. So I'm like, maybe he's doing like a weird trip thing or something I don't know about. But yeah, I would not recommend in
Cool.
your case.
Okay, good to know.
Here, I can give you a little helping hand on that one.
I've got a guide up.
Okay, beautiful.
To give you oh, here's some good ones.
Okay, let's look at the. How you doing, Casey?
Doing all right.
All right, so leather.
I'd be wandering through the woods naked with a sling, but
That's the druid way.
yeah, they don't start out with a lot of money, no.
No, they don't. Well, that's because things like a quarterstaff are literally free. So it's like, it's just a stick you picked up off the ground.
Shh.
Well,
When you're like, light crossbows are your friend, I'm like, oh, I can get a light sling.
yeah.
Or I can throw a dart.
Good. You have studded leather in your gear, but then you just have leather as your AC.
I switched out the studded leather. I just need to delete that one.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
Regular leather.
Okay. I would recommend buying some blunt arrows.
Oh yeah.
If you have the money for it, definitely do that.
I have a bunch of monies left.
And here, don't freak out. I'm going to do a thing for your sheet real fast.
Okay. What's happening?
What is a sting chuck?
That's a great question. I'll have an answer for you.
A sting chuck is a foul bag made of a human's head with the brain removed and the skull heavily scored, so it bursts open when thrown. Normally filled with biting vermin, it acts as a splash weapon. Delightful!
Pathfinder, why are you so fucking gnarly?
Oh, that
Why
doesn't
you
work
gotta be
out.
so gross?
Never mind. I was gonna set you up a buff for your point blank shot, so it applied automatically, and I might still be able to do that, but I can't do it quickly. So never mind. Keep going.
So, how much are blunt arrows? Because I don't see them in the thing.
Yeah, they're. They're under martial ammunition, and they're arrows blunt. They're 2 gold for 20.
Okay.
And they're just arrows that do bludgeoning damage. I don't think there's anything else.
They're not in the compendium thing. They're elsewhere.
Oh yeah, I'm looking on the PFSRD.
Okay.
Just if you just type in blunt arrows and pay 2 gold for them, that's they're literally just arrows that do bludgeoning and allow you to do non-lethal with a bow.
Fancy.
All right, but other than that, your sheet looked good. But if you got going on, Casey?
I think I'm done with most of the stuff aside from the equipment. I'm just trying to decide if lamellar armor is worth having nothing else to own.
Something to keep in mind, if you wear metal armor, you lose your druid power, so I wouldn't...
Lamellar is not metal.
Right, I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Yeah, no, I look at the leather part.
To be honest, I'd say it's probably not worth it, but it's up to you. That would just be my personal opinion.
I mean, my weapons are free, slings are free, quarterstaffs are free.
Sure.
So,
Do
what
you
else
have
could I
shillelagh?
need in life? Nah.
Nah, who cares?
Nah, who cares? I'm not getting up close. That's why I got
No,
a
you
brawler
took-
for.
You took spell focus conjuration, huh?
Yeah. I want to conjure stuff, though. From what I understand, for the first level or two, it's kind of meh.
Yeah,
Everything
but
everything
it very
shows up
quickly
for-
becomes pretty unmuh.
Yeah, but everything shows up for 6 seconds. How do you get past that point?
Yeah,
maybe
that's
maybe I'll scare them off in the first round. Gotta make me some good berries.
Looking pretty good overall. Keep up the great work. Kyle. Fui Shite. How are you doing?
I'm just dragging and dropping shit.
Uh-huh.
Trying to figure out what you can actually, use.
Right. What kind of character are you?
Just looking at Brawler, trying to figure out the Encyclopedia of Feats.
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing for you. I can give you a little help with that. Where are we at here?
What? Why don't I get a plus damage for slings?
You...
Do slings not get a plus something damage?
No, most ranged weapons do not.
Oh.
Most ranged weapons do not. Here, Kyle.
Yikes.
There is some martial flexibility options for like different situations. They're good to have. I can also give you this link, which is just a general sort of advice on making a brawler. Both might be helpful.
How do I do 4.5 bludgeoning damage?
So plus 3 divided by 6 plus 4. Let me look at this.
Because it's 1d6/1d6 plus 4.
Right, but I'm wanting to look at your to see.
I just dragged and dropped from the compendium. I'm assuming I'm supposed to get rid of one of those because I'm a medium creature. So I do 1d6.
Was it your quarterstaff?
It was my quarterstaff.
So quarterstaff's a double weapon. What that means is you can attack with each end if you have two of them fighting. So when it says 1d6/1d6, it's saying each end does 1d6 damage. So just remove one of the 1d6s in your...
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what that means. It's like if you want to be fancy, if you want to be like Gambit, you can take some feats and hit people with both ends of your staff and be cool like Napoleon Dynamite. But you don't need that because you're not cool like Napoleon Dynamite. So
that's
don't
probably
bother.
true.
Not few of us are. So. Oh, I appreciate you're a swole druid. Casey, I appreciate that.
I'm gonna turn into a big bear, and then I'm gonna hit things.
It's a totally valid option.
Oh, interesting. I am going to be a mutagen focused alchemist, so I am going to turn into a big bear and hit things.
All right, fine. I'll turn into a big spider and bite things. Fuck you. How about that?
Bear more in terms of like large burly man.
Oh, well, that's fine. It's gonna actually turn into like a furry creature with claws, snout,
I'm just gonna get
wet nose.
buff.
Rawr. No, I don't get to learn Sylvan. Stop giving that to me.
Hey, not to make your life harder, Ben, but when you were looking at archetypes, did you look at the Rage Chemist?
I did look at the Rage Chemist.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure you're aware.
I might want to look at it again, actually.
Because you say you want to drink a mutagen and get big and burly and hit things real hard? That's what that does.
Yeah, but it could also, like, make me useless very easily, unless I change my. Are you saying yes? You're saying,
I'm saying
yes,
no.
right?
No, I'm
You're
saying
saying
no.
no. Well, let me fucking relook at this again.
I mean, I guess it technically could. But your intelligence is so high. You're still not going to get to 0. What are the chances of that?
What indeed?
Yeah, but my will saving throw is like fucking low.
Right.
So it's gonna happen a lot.
So. Zero options. Zero options. You can do what you want. It's your character.
I'll keep looking at this. I'll keep it.
You do what you want. How are we doing, Sen? I'm sorry, I'm messing with sheet. I don't want to do that.
She had to step for a sec.
How dare she?
Dun dun dun. All right. Non-combat equipment.
Sure.
Are there like kits? Or...
Yes, there are. Excellent question. Here, let me a link to some kits. Here we go. Here in Roll20 is a link to kits. If you scroll down, there's a kit for each class. Each class gets a kit. That'll give you everything you need to get started.
So that thing I was asking about before, like that half on critical hit confirmation rolls. How does that work mechanically on the sheet?
So, okay. That's great. I must.
And I'm looking at the sheet and like the additional attacks. So is that like it'll roll all the attacks at once?
Correct. That is exactly what that is. Okay, so there's no way to put that in by default. The other sheet had a way, but this one does too. So I would put it in the notes for the attack, so it shows up at when you roll it, so you know. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they have a bonus to crit confirms, which would be nice, but it does not seem to exist.
Configuration, bottom left.
I saw that.
Is there a thing? Yes, there is. Look at you. Good job, Kyle. So if you go to configuration, the configuration tab in the bottom left under attacks, there's a critical confirmation bonus. Good eye, Kyle.
0.5.
Good eye, Casey.
Yeah. That's not going to make a difference right now, but it will make a difference.
Wait, what is that bonus for?
Favored class bonus. Something everyone should have. I'm assuming no one's planning on multiclassing right now, so we're not going to worry about it. When you at first level, you choose a favored class, and every time you take a level in the favored class, you get to choose a bonus. That bonus can be one of 3 things: an extra hit point, an extra skill rank, or one based on your race and your class. So, like at the bottom of the class page on the PFSRD, there's a bunch of racial class bonuses. You can also take those ones.
Then I guess I have to like double check this because I need to understand what it means.
Sure, and on the configuration
plus
thing,
1/2 bomb damage.
So that means every 2 levels, your bombs do an additional 1 damage. So every 2 times you choose that, you get an extra 1 bomb damage. The racial ones are more niche. They can be really helpful sometimes, but
that's not super worth for me.
Probably. I would take the HP if I was you.
Yeah, since I am at least intending to be up in the front sometime.
Exactly.
There's a bunch of things on my screen.
Things. Where do I see when I need a focus versus a component pouch versus a whatever?
Okay. Great question. So on a spell, under components, it will tell you. Verbal and somatic and material are all the same. However, in Pathfinder, there's no using a focus to replace material components. That's not really. I'm not going to focus on material components either. By the way, like it's the same as in 5e. You buy it, you have a component pouch, you're good. Like, don't worry about it. The only exception to that is like druids or I think druids, paladins, clerics can all use like a holy symbol, or druids have like a special druidic focus that they can use to replace material.
Okay, so that's what the DF stands for.
Right.
Druid
That means
focus.
divine focus, which means you can replace a material with a divine.
I prefer druid focus.
Well, we don't want to exclude clerics or paladin.
We do.
Okay. All right. Well, you don't need to be racist.
I mean,
So, Sin.
Cleric isn't a race?
Yeah, they are. I expect you to be respectful, Ben. How you feeling, Sin?
My brain is mush. I mean, not just
Okay.
because of this, but this.
That's fair.
I mean, there's just there's so much. And the completist in me is like, I didn't put anything there. Where's that supposed to be? Like, I missed it.
Yeah. That's the thing. So I guess, have you chosen your hexes yet? Or hex, I guess.
I'm on that page.
Gotcha.
I have notes written down of stuff that I looked at earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have this fancy link available to me that you have linked so kindly, which is much better organized.
Yeah, if I could make some recommendations just to make your life a little easier for ones that are pretty
Yes,
decent.
please.
Evil Eye and Slumber are both quick.
I already had Evil Eye. I wasn't a huge. I don't know.
So the thing about Slumber is, you know how in 5e, sleep is like really good at the first few levels and then becomes kind of useless.
Yep.
Imagine if you had a single target version of Slumber that affected anyone ever, unless they're immune to being put to sleep. That's what Slumber. It's like you make a will save or fall asleep. There's no hit dice requirement. There's no health requirement. If they can fall asleep, if they fail the will save, they're asleep, which means they're out. That's it. Game over.
Cool.
Do not pass go. Yes. Unless someone wastes their turn to wake them up. So it's a very powerful CC. If you don't want to take it, don't feel like you have to.
When you say waste their turn, like, I guess that's...
So, okay, they have to use their standard action, which is the equivalent of your action in 5e, right? So that means they're not taking... They have to walk over using their movement, potentially provoking an attack of opportunity, and then use their action to wake them up. So they can't full attack. They can't cast spells. They can't, run up to you and stab you in the face. They can't do any of that. So basically, with one spell, you've at the very least traded your action for someone else's, potentially multiple other people's action. Right? Because if they're asleep for a while and then someone eventually goes and wakes them up, you get all those free turns that they're not there, and you waste that other person's action too. That's the power of sleep.
That's the power of Ponsol, baby.
No, we're not. So my brother wanted to text me to ask me if I was watching the debates, but he felt guilty apparently because he didn't text me happy birthday. So he texted me happy birthday, and then immediately, are you watching the debates though?
That's love.
Yeah.
Is that like a hint that it's your birthday?
That was not the intention. No.
Is it your birthday today?
It is technically my birthday today.
Happy
birthday!
You know, you don't have to like beat around.
That was not the purpose of that.
It's
I
my
wanted to tell a
birthday.
funny thing that my brother
Lies. When is it?
did. That's it. Not it. Not the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, I missed it. Is it today?
Today.
Damn it, Sean.
What do you mean, damn it, Sean?
Could have at least sent you a bag of pretzels and a delicious Hawaiian pizza or something.
You can skip the second one. That one's fine. You don't have to send me anything. I appreciate
stress.
the
Oh, we have a calendar now. We could put in people's birthdays.
You could, yeah.
That's a lot of work, but all right.
Yeah, I mean, don't. I wouldn't.
In the same breath, I was like, "Yay!" Oh, I do that.
Like, yeah, like that's not a thing I would do if I was your position, but you could.
All right, I do have a Pathfinder question now.
Okay.
Regarding, not that it's relevant immediately, but the feral mutagen discovery. There's so much extra stuff, extra mechanics than what the actual text of the discovery will tell me.
So hold on a second. I'm typing. Okay. Discovery. Which discovery?
Feral mutagen.
Okay. There. Okay. All right. Okay. So what this means, you drink your mutagen, you get 2 claw attacks and a bite attack. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what the confusion is here. So I'm sure you understand claw attacks deal a d6, bite attack does a d8. That's all pretty normal.
Yeah.
You also gain a bonus to intimidate checks. The part that I'm imagining is confusing you is these are primary attacks and are made using the Alchemist's full base attack.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
What's that mean?
So, natural attacks can be primary and secondary. Secondary attacks are made at a -5. Primary attacks are made at full. So I believe, let me double check this. Let me double check this before I tell you a thing that's wrong. Okay, so what that means is the primary, they're all made at full base attack bonus. So your base attack bonus plus your strength, and then they do damage plus your strength. Some are secondary, -5. They only do half strength and damage. But these are all primary. So when you use your mutagen, you can claw, bite.
Like all at the same time?
When you full attack, which means you don't move. Full attack is a full round action. You do all your attack.
Okay.
And
that is a thing that I need to know.
Yes, and let's say you have your spear. You want to use your spear. Spear is a two-handed weapon, so you don't get your 2 claws. So you stab them with your spear for as many attacks as you get with your spear based on your base attack bonus. And then you can bite them. Because you used a regular weapon attack, the bite is now considered a secondary attack and is at a -5. That's where things get kind of fucky.
So what you're saying is, if I take feral mutagen, just don't bother taking actual melee weapon.
Yeah, or at least don't bother using it while you're mutagen.
Oh, except for situationally appropriate reasons.
Right. Here's the thing though: is like if you have a nice magic weapon, that's going to be better than these attacks.
Okay.
So it might be worth it to use the nice magic weapon, and then you can use feral mutagen to get a bite attack in as like a free bonus. But it's not going to be as good.
Now, the second part of this that I'm confused about is, so if I use a quote-unquote full attack, right? That's the word for it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, full attack, yep.
So I can use every primary attack available to me, or every attack quote-unquote available to me?
Correct. Sort of correct.
We're speaking the same. Like I would, like with feral mutagen, I would be able to.
You would take your bite and 2 claws.
But if for example I was wielding a weapon in each hand, a full attack action would be taking both attacks.
Assuming you could do that. 2-weapon fighting is weird in Pathfinder.
I can't take 2-weapon fighting until I raise my dex again, but
right. So by default you could do that, but you take huge penalties. But you could do it, assuming both weapons were light. You could do it.
Yeah. But so like that's what a full attack action means. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and like as you level up your when your base attack bonus gets high enough, you'll get iterative attacks, which is like once your base attack bonus hits 6, you then get 1 attack at +6 base attack bonus and 1 attack at +1 base attack bonus. So when you full attack, you get 2.
Does that mean 2 attacks with the on hand and 1 attack with, or 2 attacks with each hand?
2 attacks with your main hand, 1 attack with your offhand.
Okay.
Yeah, though with 2-weapon fighting, unless you get feats, higher end feats for it, it's always you take a normal amount of attacks you would as if you weren't 2-weapon fighting, plus an additional 1 for your offhand.
Okay, so in looping this back around to feral mutagen, I would take 3 attacks and then a 4th attack with one of the weapons of my choosing.
No, natural attacks never get iterative attack.
Oh, interesting.
That's the trade-off. So you're getting more attacks than most people would be able to at like level 1, but that's all you'll ever get.
Well, with the mutagen, but yeah,
with the mutagen, right? So yeah, that's the thing. Like, and that means like big monsters that have natural attacks, they don't get extra ones because their base attack bonus is really high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna take feral mutagen.
Go for it. You do you, fam.
You called me fam? Oh.
Don't read that much into it.
You called me fam.
Oh, I see you've chosen Evil Eye, Sin. That is a good choice.
Well, I found my list, and I have other stuff on there, but if you recommend it and it's third on my list, then cool. I didn't put my list in order exactly. Plus, I think some of this is like... I planned way out, so I hope she lives.
It's a good idea as a follow-up. Cackle is a great one, because then
that
you
was
can
number one.
You can like Evil Eye a bunch of people and then just go as a move action, and it extends the Evil Eye.
Which is just such a creepy thing to do in general.
It's such a creepy thing, and it's so good. It's like really, witches are great at like debuffing and controlling enemies, and Evil Eye is fantastic.
I just don't
It'll definitely be useful.
Am I putting it in the right place? Because this feels a little weird.
Yeah, that's probably as good a place as any. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I would put it if I was you.
Yay. Everything's going to be really wordy, so like when it comes time for you to check it, if you have any suggestions of how to make it less, please.
Oh, update my new first level spell is improved initiative.
Your feet?
Yeah.
You mean? Yeah.
Wait, what did I say?
Spell.
Fuck.
But
You know
no,
what I
I
mean.
got you. I got you, fam.
You said
Going first is good.
That's like twice at least that I've caught you doing the mwah.
Mwah. I don't know.
What's going on with that?
I'm in a mwah mood today. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to be playing Pathfinder again, to be honest. It's been a while. And now there's like, it's like when you pull an old car out of storage for a while and you like get it all set up and you start it for the first time. It feels like that to my brain, because
it feels like the first time.
Thousands of rules that are in my head rattling around that have gathered dust for a while, and now they're all coming back. And it's like meeting an old friend who's very obnoxious at parties all over again.
A little disappointed. Both Casey and Ben avoided the lyrics. No?
What?
Feels like the very first time. Oh, no.
Now you've set it up though.
Well, now I set it up before and the ball hit the floor.
Yeah, but I was looking at my extracts.
That sentence.
I know we didn't necessarily talk, or I know we talked about not necessarily wanting to know what other people did, but can I ask a question to the group in that regard, or do we want to just kind of be independent of each other?
It was just a suggestion on my part to attempt to not metagame our character design, but I don't know. I think we should talk to each other about our characters in general.
What you thinking?
Well, is somebody gonna do better? Is somebody gonna specialize particularly in healing?
I am capable of it. I don't know if that answers your question, though.
Because I could be.
Well,
But
I think
I won't be able to heal you guys until at least next level.
Well, the druid will have good berry and some basic healing, so not like specialized.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have not as much healing as you really need or could expect at this level. You've got multiple people who can cast Cure Light Wounds. And given that that's really the only real level 1 healing spell.
That's specifically the spell that I'm talking about.
Right, yeah. I mean, there's no equivalent of healing word. So you got Cure Light Wounds, and that's basically it. So you've got multiple people who can cast it, so that you're in as good a position as you're going to be.
I've seen this everywhere. This is a mind-affecting effect.
Yes, that's important because things such as Ben's skin, when he is skin sending, are immune to mind-affecting effects.
Still taking it, though.
But why?
Because I get to take my skin off.
Did you read the? Did you hear?
No,
the
I did.
description
I
said?
was. Yes. Gosh.
God, why would he not take it?
No,
Did
I
you
meant why
watch
is
the
he
movie
immune?
Face Off.
Because it counts as a
Construct.
And constructs
Oh my
are
God,
immune to
guys,
effect.
come on. Never mind.
What?
She's making a joke about how we sound the same.
I don't hear it. I don't hear how we sound the same. You sound very distinct from me.
Yeah, I agree. When I talk, I don't get me confused with.
And when you talk, I don't get you confused with me either.
There we go. Easy enough.
Oh, there's somebody
But
that could
even-
answer it. Sam, be on my side.
It would have probably been more convincing if they both hadn't stumbled through that saying and getting the I's and U's mixed up.
Yeah, they're too
Yeah.
busy patting each other on the back for job well done.
Sam, I know you're in chat. You can tell whose voice is whose, right?
Yeah, Sam. Who's Sam?
Sam's my
Oh,
girlfriend.
now you're gonna give it
Oh.
away.
Oh. Well, if we're the same person, I feel like I should know who our collective girlfriend is, right? I mean, come on.
Weird
not weird.
sentences.
I don't know how comfortable with that sentence I am.
That's fair. You shouldn't be comfortable with it because we're not the same person.
Yeah, we're not the same person.
A little louder, Ben.
We're not the same person.
Do a funny voice. That doesn't change it.
Well, the real test. Can both of you say Baron's Justice, get on the ground?
Baron's Justice, get on the ground.
That wasn't it. You can't get that confused with the real McCoy.
Hey, you know what I'm gonna do now, though? I'm gonna search through this recording and then go find the other one. I'm gonna put them side by side. I'll
They're
do, like,
not
a
going to
strong,
sound the same
bad
because that wasn't
kinda
Malik's
music
voice.
song to it.
Malik is my gruff voice, and that wasn't a particularly gruff voice, so they're not going to sound the same.
Baron's Justice, get on the ground.
Closer. Closer.
Sound
I
like
still
you
think it's a little off.
are in love with a block and tackle.
What?
He wasn't in
Baron's
love with
Justice, get on the ground.
That
it.
that helped. Wow.
He just understood its usefulness. And it was very useful, so I was right.
It was a moment.
I don't know why I'm confused by that, but like, what the fuck is a block and tackle?
See, he can't be me. Would the real Sean ever utter those words?
You swung
No.
that shit around as a weapon? That's baller.
No, of course not. It's a tool, not a weapon.
No,
You can't
it was
hit
a
people
tool
with
for
it.
him to carry and try and use awkwardly.
It worked.
Surprisingly
it
not
worked
on that door.
Literally every time.
Except for that door.
Well, we didn't have time. The block and tackle is a thinking man's tool. You don't have time to think when you're delivering the Baron's Justice. That's a time for decisive
Damn it.
action, like kicking
We
in the
should have
door
made those t-shirts.
and yelling Baron's Justice, get on the ground.
And block and tackle is getting added to my character sheet.
Good tool to have. It's a force multiplier.
And the two become one.
Look, just because he's making smart character creation decisions doesn't mean we're the same person. Also, it seems like Sam can tell us apart just fine, so I think we're safe.
Is Sam next to you right now, Ben?
No, she's
Okay.
at her own home.
Alright, I don't think I can avoid it anymore. I think it's time to look at the spells a little.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
elsewhere, I'm like, there's gotta be something else I can do, right?
Spells are the most complicated thing.
Thanks, Casey.
I might be cheating, but I did take enlarged person.
It's not cheating. Why
would that be cheating? That's standard boostiness.
Enlarged person plus the.
So, okay, important point of order here. We need to talk about something. So, the word person is very important in that spell because it means humanoids. Casey is a tiefling and does not count as a humanoid.
You are
Casey
incorrect, sir.
Is a native outsider.
Casey is not.
Human. Casey passes for Casey passes for human. All right, well, you ruined my point. The point I'm making is most native outsiders, Azamars, tieflings, fetchlings, don't count as human or as a person for the effects like that, so they are not targetable. Casey got around it by cheating and using the rules, but that's
Casey cheated by using the rules for their intended effect.
Yeah, how dare he? But
and the DM garbage starts.
That is it's something to keep in mind. I mean, I think Casey's the only weird race. I think
I pass.
But I'm saying no one else will have that problem. But if you're going against a tiefling and try to charm person them, it probably won't work.
Interesting.
So that's also enlarged person has a casting time of 1 round. Another important point of, which means you cast it, and then it goes into effect at the beginning of your next turn.
You want to prep that one before combat.
Yep.
Right. Or if you're clever, what you can do is like you start casting enlarged person and yell, "Hey, fighter, get over here!" And then the fighter uses their turn to go stand next to you, and then at the beginning of your turn, you touch them with enlarged person when the spell goes off, and then they get big. So you can be clever.
I'm going to use this on myself.
Sure, absolutely. But again, 1 round. So
yeah, I'm gonna get +2 bonus to my strength, and then give myself a plus. What is it? 6 bonus to my strength.
Yeah, and your weapons will do more damage.
And my weapons will do more.
And you might get reach.
Yeah, you.
I do get reach.
Yep.
I might for 1 combat every day. I am going to be the party tank.
Did you take the spear that has reach by default?
No.
Okay.
No, because I did not want that.
Okay. Because reach works different in Pathfinder.
Yes, I did double check that.
Okay.
How is it different?
So okay, let's say I have like a pole arm.
One of us at a time, Kyle.
If I have a pole arm,
Kyle, I'm so sorry.
You did. That's okay. There's worse people to be called than Kyle. I have a pole arm with a reach of 10 feet. You get right up next to me, I can't hit you with that pole arm. I can only hit you if you're 1 square away. So then I have to back up to hit you with it. But if you get right in my face, I can't hit you with the pole arm. So that's something we know about weapons with reach. That is not the case if you're like a big creature with a reach of 10 feet. You can hit any of the squares. But
it's like trying to shoot a cannon at somebody standing next to you.
Right. It's like have you ever swung an axe at like you're chopping wood and you miss, you overshoot and just the handle hits the piece of wood and it vibrates and you're like, ah, it's like that. You don't want to do that.
Is movement similar, the same?
Pretty similar.
Because I remember like diagonals being different.
So yeah, that's one thing. Diagonals in Pathfinder, I'm going to set the sheet up to do it automatically, or the maps to do it automatically, but every other diagonal is 10 feet. So the first one's 5 feet, the second one's 10 feet. That won't really come into play a ton.
Diagonal?
Yeah, every other diagonal. Yeah. Don't worry about it too much. We're not going to get bent out of shape about it. But
3D space doesn't do that.
It's because it's technically like if we're 5 foot squares, technically 1 5 foot square is 7.5 feet, like to go across the diagonal. So it's to represent that each, like, it's like the first one is 5 feet, but you got to pay for the extra movement you got for free by making the next one 10 feet, is what it's doing. That's something that's different. Moving inside of a creature's threatened area will provoke an attack of opportunity. It's not like 5e where once you get there, you can just run circles around them for free. Can't do that. That provokes attacks of opportunity. The big movement thing is Pathfinder has this thing called the 5-foot step. Learn to love it. It's important.
5-foot step.
It is a free 5-foot movement, but if you take it, you can't take your regular movement. So normally the way you move is you spend your move action moving 30 feet or whatever your speed is.
I remember that rule.
Right, but you can choose to take a 5-foot step. 5-foot steps do not provoke attacks of opportunity. So if you're a spellcaster, someone gets in your face the turn before, and you're like, I don't want to be next to you anymore, you take a 5-foot step away, and then you can cast spells without provoking attacks of opportunity. If you have a bow, you can do the same thing. But you then can't use your move action to move. You are just locked into that 5-foot step. But it's an important part of Pathfinder. Learn to love it. And you will, because otherwise I'll hit you in the face with free attacks of opportunity all the time.
Owie.
Yeah, which is why, flanking is a thing in Pathfinder, but it's harder to get because you can't just run up to someone and then run around them to get in flanking, because you'll eat an attack of opportunity. You have to be careful with your movement to get there.
You have to make use of the 5-foot step increments.
Exactly, yeah. Or you can make an acrobatics check against their CMD to move without provoking attacks of opportunity at half speed. So if you're good at acrobatics, if you're a rogue, you can do that. Dodge around them, stab them in the back. How you doing, Kyle? Still feeling good over there? I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the map, and I love that there's a screaming jungle and a laughing jungle.
Oh, you gotta have all types of jungle.
And a jungle of hungry trees.
Gotta have
Where
all the
are
types.
we gonna be?
You guys will be starting in near the mountains by Greyhaven. But eventually, so this is the country you're starting in right now. Which map? Wait, which map are you looking at?
The world.
Oh, okay. There's a handout in Roll20 that details the country of Brevoy, and that's where you're starting.
Oh, okay, I see.
To give you an idea.
Where did you say we were starting?
The country of Brevoy?
No, like the specific place near where we were starting.
Near Greyhaven, near the Golishkin Mountain.
I found it on the world map.
Aha!
Yes.
Yeah, when we get to Kingmaker stuff and you guys flesh out your backstories, make full characters, this will become more important. For right now,
Stupid
don't
question. Where do we do that?
What do you mean?
Is that just on the very first tab? We put everything in there? Like in the other character sheets, they had the inside place where you can hide stuff from other players about your backstory.
Oh, that's a good point. This one doesn't really have that. The other one did. That's interesting. I say put it on the first page, and I'm just not going to let you guys see each other's characters anyway. So okay. That's fine. I don't normally do that anyway, so it's not a big deal. I would just put it there. Yeah, I don't like that this doesn't have that. That's an excellent point.
Please don't make us start over.
Yeah, we're gonna start over. You know what? I've decided we're going back to the old sheet. I like it better. No, because then then it's ultimately my laziness gets in the way, because I want to be able to pull characters or NPC sheets from the monster manual, and I can't do that with the other sheet.
Way more important.
So, yeah, to me, yes. Yeah, I'll say. Or would you prefer I give you a handout that only you can see to put that stuff in?
If that's not too cumbersome, that would be all right.
It's not for me. I don't care. Why don't we do that? I'll make a subfolder under characters for character notes / backstory. And I'll give each of you a handout.
Hey, Sean.
Uh-huh.
How big a barrel do you think I could get for 2 gold pieces? Could I get like a rain barrel?
Are barrels 2 gold pieces?
Yes.
Yeah, you could get like a regular sized barrel.
I mean, it's 30 pounds, so I would figure that's a big ass barrel.
Yeah, it's a pretty big barrel. Like a barrel, like a barrel the size of a modern day keg.
I was thinking like the old-fashioned Old West ones, like that sit outside and gather the rainwater. The ones you shoot fish in.
Can you give me a picture? Because I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Sure.
Like, can you give me a picture of what you're thinking about?
Maybe.
I'm going to say the answer is probably yes, unless what you're thinking of is like way bigger than I think it is. I don't know how you're going to carry that, but that's not my problem to solve. All right, you know what? Man, Firefox is so much better at Roll20, like disgustingly better. Like it loads so much faster and it does things so much faster. Does anyone else notice that? Am I just a crazy person?
I haven't opened Firefox in 3 years.
I have no idea.
I
Yeah,
found
same.
that Firefox was chewing on my Roll20 recently, so I switched over to Chrome and haven't gone back in a while.
Interesting, because I've had the exact opposite.
I think it's just a matter. I think it has a lot to do with your video card.
Very well could. What kind of video card do you have?
A nice one.
Great answer.
I knew what the card was for long enough for me to buy it, and now it is no longer an important piece of information, so it has been slotted.
Quite literally, right?
Removed
Yep.
for other more relevant information.
Exactly. I got to learn all this new Pathfinder stuff.
It's like the old Simpsons joke. Remember the time I learned how to make wine and forgot how to drive? It's like that.
What?
Yeah, it's an old Simpsons joke. Yeah, I'll find you. All right.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, my brain is shutting down. I don't know if I can do spells tonight.
That's totally fine.
I've now jumped into the Google search of Canadian marble fox. No.
Aww.
Yeah, that's fine, Casey.
Okay.
For the barrel. There you go, Ben. If you want contact with the joke I made.
What?
I posted a link in the out of character chat for a Kingmaker about for the Simpsons quote. If you wanted,
Already on it.
reference for the thing, the joke I made. Yeah, I will also need pictures for everyone, obviously, so I can make you tokens. Kathy is apparently Zelda.
That's actually Linkle.
That is Linkle.
What's that?
It was like, initially it was just kind of like someone who worked on Zelda did like a drawing of like a female Link, and everyone liked it so much they like made a version of her for the Hyrule Warriors game. So that's essentially who that is.
So I was pretty close when I said Zelda.
Yes,
I feel pretty.
I was like scrolling through pictures and stopped on that, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Again, it works. Cal, how are you doing? You still with us?
He has stepped AFK. His brain is about as mush as mine. We've been up since like 3.
That's and like, feel free to ask questions throughout the week. If you are like, Sean, I'm really confused, please hop in the chat and help me. I have no life, so sure.
Appreciate that.
You know, I'm willing to do that. Just let me know. Actually, I am doing things, but not all the way. I do have a life sometimes, okay?
He said defensively.
I don't need your lip said.
Nobody needs that. Oh, so cute. Okay, seriously? Just pick a fox picture. It doesn't even matter, Cindy. They're so cute, though.
Oh, so I'm giving you a little sheet for your familiar.
Oh.
It might be easier to make them on an NPC sheet. I'll have to look at the rules for familiar. Do it right off the top of my head.
Oh boy, when I get a familiar, Sean, you probably know what familiar I'm gonna eventually have to take.
Is it the tumor familiar?
It's the tumor familiar.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to be doing a lot of gross skin stuff, guys. It's going to be bad.
It's Anders, part 2.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Body Horror.
Yeah, that's me. I don't know if I want to eventually take tentacle or another arm, but I'm picking one of those two. Obviously, I know I don't get a fourth claw, a fourth attack when I do my feral mutagen, right? Sean?
What? Sorry, say that again?
So if I grow an extra arm, does that turn into a claw that I can use? Or
because it says it gives you 2 claws. It says it gives you 2 claws.
Okay.
Specifically.
Okay. I didn't think so.
And I don't think with the extra arm, I don't think you can attack with it. I could be wrong. I don't think so.
Let's do some stuff. I'd have to specify, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't give me an extra attack like that.
Right. Because there's Tentacle, the alchemist gains a prehensile arm like Tentacle on his body. Tentacle does not give the alchemist any extra attacks or actions per round. Though you can use it to make a tentacle attack. 1d4 damage for a medium alchemist. Oof. With the grab ability, you can grapple with it. Because there's actually like a a lot of people want to dual wield with the gunslinger, dual wield pistols, but it's hard to. You can't reload. You need an extra hand. So a lot of people, what they'll do is take a level in alchemist, get the tentacle discovery to grow a tentacle arm, and then just swap the guns between your hands and your tentacle arms to reload them. And that way they can get their full attacks dual wielding with pistols.
Fucking gross.
Yeah. Hey, I've made a token out of that exact picture before, Casey.
Yeah. Pretty good picture.
It's a good picture.
Dope looking.
Yeah, that is my dear friend Brian's first ever character he ever made was that picture.
Nice.
I know you don't know who that is, but it's relevant to me.
I know Brian.
Oh yeah, Brian, your good friend Brian?
Yeah, Brian. He's the one who gave you the doll, wasn't he?
No. Different guy.
Who gave you the doll?
A guy named Oliver that I'm friends with.
Oh, so close. Brian,
So close.
Oliver. They both have letters.
They do. You know what? No one could ever say that they don't both have letters.
Yay, reflex saves.
I think on that note, I'm going to prepare to crash out.
Okay.
I will give some thought to my character image. But I believe the sheet is done aside from spending my remaining 3 gold and 9 silver pieces. Which will be done on mostly useless things.
I should probably stop the stream then.
Goodbye, internet.
Bye.
Find out what we did in 2 weeks.
Still have a
Bye.